Everybody, I'm Mav Gojo, and I'm bringing you guys this What If. If you're wondering, this is a full story or a one shot of a What If. No, it's been a long time since I made this type of video, but let's give it a try, shall we? This is what if I had the power of the Titans, or you could say the power of the Titans that appear in the Skibidi Toilet series, like the Drill Titan, Speaker Titan, Camera Titan, Cinemaman, and Clockman Titan. All Titans will practically have all their powers. If we how will actually have gained their powers? Well, it been an accident I will actually have in a couple of days ago, which I'll be hit by a car. CVS will most likely would have crushed in my entire arm, seemingly immobilizing it and not able to move it. While for my legs, I'll most likely not be able to walk for at least a couple of weeks. I'll be in coma for at least 3 months. And in this coma, I'll meet all Titans. Eventually, they'll tell me that they wanted to treat me, seeing that they see me as a perfect successor for their powers. Of course, the Clockman Titan would have teaching me how to manipulate the time continuum so I can practically stop and reverse time itself while also controlling other people's minds. While the Speaker Man will easily able to teach me how to control the vibrations of a sound, almost like to practically counter them as well. I was also able to learn a combination between the Drill Titan powers and the Speakerman Titan powers, which I can produce incredibly powerful sound wave attacks, which I can combine with my drill, so I can increase the intensity of the drill alongside its hardening. Which which the Drill Titan and the Speakerman Titan actually were impressed by it. Well, I'll most likely be able to master, my Cameraman Titan form, which I'm most likely able to provide much more better efficiency and durability. But most of my durable forms will most likely be the Cinnamon and the Clockman Titan. They'll be my most durable forms. Of course, I have all the forms of Titans, from their upgrade states to even their normal base states, which I can use to just suppress my power and even be a lot stronger. I'm also able to learn the Cinnamon's abilities to teleport and even mind control as well, which I can prove to be a lot better. Also, I can brightly detach my head and do other things, so yeah. If you're wondering, I don't have the weakness of the Titans like they do. I do not possess their weaknesses, like when the cameras look at the TV mans. I don't have that weakness, nor for a Drill Titan. Due to me practically having all other Titans, means that I don't have any of the weaknesses because I possess all Titans' abilities. So that will most likely mean that I most likely don't have any of the drawbacks that their abilities would have on me because I'm being a combination between all of them. Of course, I will most likely have my own humanoid version of the Titans, so I can use their power. Almost like I can summon their weapons, or even transform some of my arms into their weaponry. Of course, from the Clockman Titan, it will most likely be much more difficult for me to master all his abilities. This will most likely would have taken me at least 2 years. If for around 3 months of training that I would have gotten, I most likely would have spent 20, if when there'll be around 30 years of me training with all Titans. And the Clockman Titan and the Cinnamon will most likely have the much harder ability for me to master. But eventually I'll be able to master them. And eventually Titans will explain to me that it was actually they came from another dimension when they all died to sacrifice themselves for the Caramans, Teammans, Drillmans, and many others to survive. Me, of course, nodding as the Titans wish me luck in the next journey. With me, of course, nodding as eventually I would have woken up. But it seems something is different. I'm much more taller, of course. If you're wondering, my normal height is around 183 centimeters. But when I actually have gained the powers of the Titans, my height has increased a lot, being 190 centimeters, being incredibly tall. I've been quite surprised by it, but not too surprised. Eventually, I was able to figure out that I'm actually in another dimension as well. I'm actually in a dimension of Day of Life. If you're wondering what this anime is, you just have to type the name and you will just get it on YouTube or in Google, so yeah. Even this is just a boy about spirits trying to control Earth or just trying to live their normal lives. Of course, I've been confused on why I'm doing this dimension, but eventually able to figure it out as well. Of course, I have my own humanoid state, so I'm pretty strong as well. If you're in my human state, I'm really strong. I'm not unlike any other average human. I'm most likely skilled to Goku at the Saiyan Saga at a power of 8,000 just in my base form. So yeah, while my Titan forms just increase my base or my durability as well. If we're in the most durable out of all of them is the Cinnamon and Drillman, while the Clockman is the most durable as well. Well, if we're waiting for durability, I must say that the Cameraman is much more durable, while the Speakerman and the Drillman are much more agilable than most. So yeah. Eventually, I was able to practically meet Shido, the main character or the antagonist of the entire anime. Of course, I'm most likely able to befriend him and eventually help him with most of his journey. Of course, I'll most likely have no challenge at all, since I can practically use my Titan's powers without me even transforming into some of them. Of course, I will be able to show up me being a partial Titan alongside being a human. Of course, most of them think that I'm a spirit of some sort, but I'll just explain to them I'm not. I'm just a combination between ancient Titans that are incredibly powerful. I was eventually able to fully able to adapt to the power of the Clockman Titan, and eventually able to practically travel to dimension, not only time. Eventually, I wish Shiro good luck in his life, with me teleporting back to my home world. Of course, I was actually able to figure out that I have spent at least a couple of months with Shiro, and it's actually been 3 days in my world. Seemingly, as I travel between time and space, it seems that my world actually is slowing down its movements, not by a large margin, but still pretty big as well. Of course, I was able to reunite with my family, and they won't really notice the difference in my body, shape, and even strength as well. I'll most likely be above any average human in being the most strongest being as well. I can practically take on an even entire planet and even solar system if I want to. I can destroy it easily with using some of my powers. Eventually, I was actually able to combine a combination of some of my forms. I can practically change the color of some of my forms, which I most likely will decide to change the Speakerman form to still stay red, but my Cameraman form will most likely be red as well, because I really like the color, but I'll most likely stick with maybe bluish red, which I think is a pretty balanced color. Well, I most likely would have stayed in my other Titan forms to be still in stay the same. Of course, I will most likely able to travel to other dimensions and eventually be in a Transformers dimension. If we're in this is the animated version, so yeah. Of course, I will be able to help the Transformers. Of course, I'll practically be in my Titan Cameraman form because it's much more beneficial form for me and I can utilize it with better efficiency. With this, of course, I'll easily able to overpower most of my enemies. You know, when someone like Megatron uses the Dark Energon against me, I can practically use my Titan Clockman's abilities to just manipulate the time between him and the sword, so I can practically disrupt it. Of course, I'm actually able to gather some the original Energon and Dark Energon as well. Able to combine them both, so I can practically make a new Energon. Practically, I'll call it Pure Energon, which is a combination between the two most powerful Energons combined together, Energon. So yeah. With this, I'll be able to create a weapon for myself. You'll most likely be a sword but also a gauntlet at the same time, which I could use to practically battle someone even much more powerful than me. This gauntlet also increases my power the longer I battle, which improves my abilities as well. If you're wearing the boost, the gauntlet is permanent. It means that I'm always stronger than some of my opponents. Of course, I'll decide to actually train the humans that are able to Transformers. If only I'm actually able to control Ki because of the Titan's abilities, and I'm most likely able to usually and professionalize it. I also would have given the humans a portion of the abilities of the TV-mans, Drill-mans, and Speaker-mans, which I can say that they were most likely happy about it. Eventually, I'll visit many other dimensions afterwards, simply as I want to explore the entire multiverse as well. Of course, the Guardians of the Multiverse from Multiverse Sonic would try and stop me, but because of my power being almost close to them, they cannot do anything as I was able to teleport away, seemingly as I'm hidden behind their vision. Of course, I'll decide to visit some of the other timelines of One Punch Man timeline. And in that timeline, I'll actually decide to do something for a difference. As I'll actually slow Saitama's punch a little bit so Boros can actually survive. Leading to what that will actually come into the future of what if Boros became good or survived. With this, of course, I'll go back into my world once again. It seems as I actually enjoy my trip, and it seems that I've only been a day ever since 1 month after I traveled. Of course, it'll be pretty much more chaotic for me. Alongside, linked to some me meeting a lot of friends. Of course, I most likely would have met alternative versions of me. One when I was reborn in the Sonic universe, the other one when I was reborn in the Dragon Ball universe as well, or teleported there. I'm most likely been pretty interested as well. Of course, I was able to actually figure out that there was a lot of versions of me. Practically an entire society known as the Martins, the Guardians of the Multiverse. They are the ones that keep the multiverse and the entire existence itself at check alongside to be input in the first place. One of the strongest out of all of them and the boss of all is AF Gogeta, or the alternate version of me who fused with the original self and the what if I was in Dragon Ball. Practically the two combination between the two what ifs into one, allowing me to have the previous memories of the original one while also having the others as well, making him the strongest out of all of them. If we want this, Abe Gojo is actually a lot stronger because he possesses the ability of every Martine that exists in the entire multiverse, making him even stronger than me, but I'm pretty powerful on my own. I almost like to say that I'm ranking at least 5th place in the power scaling of the other Martines. Of course, I know 5th is kind of a surprising rank for all of you guys, but when I actually show my other ways of myself and many other powers, you'll most likely see what I mean. Of course, I most likely would have decided to visit the Skibidi world, and eventually able to help the cameramans, TV mans, and speakermans defeat most of the other groups, eventually leading to them actually enjoy my company. Of course, I was still met with Speaker Woman, TV Woman, and even Camera Woman. Of course, I'll most likely say that Speaker Woman most likely grown a crush on me, which I'll most likely not actually minded, and I like her as well. I also like her dancing styles. These are most likely transform me to my Speakerman form so I can dance with her and even sometimes have fun with the Speakermans. But of course, on the other Titans, being confused on how different I am comparable to them. I do possess more Titan powers than they have, so it's quite surprising for them. Of course, I'm much more powerful than the other Titans. I'm most likely able to defeat G-Man before he can even gain even more power. Of course, this won't be surprised by the other Titans because I'm most likely explain the future, which should not have happened. I also would have prevented, of course, the science toilet so he cannot create any other more powerful toilets, and eventually lead to practically the cameramans, TV-mans, and speakermans winning the war, eventually winning to a peaceful time. Of course, I'm really happy about this, and which actually advise speakerman to come to my world and even there. I'm also able to help her, help her with her able to develop her own humanoid state, which most likely say that she has a red hair and she kind of looks like a regular high school girl. Of course, she's much more knowledgeable, but she likes having parties with a little bit of big music. Eventually, my life would have been pretty good, I would say, with me enjoying my life and my entire school as well. I'm also going to be incredibly smart because of the times teach me how to fight, alongside to study as well. And so I was able to pass school, get married with Speaker Woman, and eventually we will have 2 kids. One of them will actually look exactly like Titan Cameraman and Titan Speakerman, which I've been pretty proud. I also would have been trained both of them while using my Cinnamon form, so I can teach her how to utilize their own Titan powers. If one of them most likely would have get from me because of my DNA practically possessing the abilities. So most likely that my children will possess almost similar abilities to mine, but much more weaker. Of course, I'm pretty proud of them since they can now be new protectors if I want to retire. But I'm pretty happy that I have my own family alongside a wife as well. Of course, I actually would have heard from my boss or F. Gogito that something has been happening throughout the multiverse. Something unexpected. Of course, asking was that, and he asked me if I remember during the previous what if I was in our universe. Something is about to happen in the final battle. With me being concerned, I asked him what. With Egojo telling me that someone named Infinite Mephiles is coming to fight that other version of us. With me being in shock as I heard that name, of course Egojo telling me that that other variation of us will handle it. But if he is too lost, everyone must prepare for the worst. Is I not? Other than that, I'll prepare for the worst. As I'll tell my family to be careful when also going around, knowing that this variation of Mephiles and Infinite might be even stronger than the original selves. But guys, this is the end of this What If. Hope you guys enjoy this. See you guys in the next What If. Bye.